Good morning. Today on our show, we will be looking at the issue of cybersecurity and the protection of our clients' data. But before we get started, I do have a few items that I want to share with the audience. As of Tuesday, this past Tuesday, the Maryland Higher Education opened up the application process for the Community College Promise Scholarship. This is a scholarship for students who will be attending community colleges in Maryland for the 2019-2020 academic year. The student can get up to $5,000 for tuition and books. Now, this is not an automatic award. There are certain criteria that you must adhere to before you can get the award awarded to you. So to view that criteria, we have put the website down in the comments section so you can take a look at it. Now, also, I want to note two other issues that you need to take care of. One being that the student must set up an account with the Maryland College Aid Processing System. That's Maryland MDCAPS. Again, that website is down in the comments section. So make sure the student sets up an account in there before he starts the application process. Now, the other issue you have to remember is that this is only available until June 25th of 2019. You're saying, wow, that's really not much time. And it's really not, but you got to remember, this is a scholarship for the 2019-2020 academic year. So the process, so the Maryland Higher Education has to review the applications and allocate the funds before the before the academic year starts. So that's why you only have that short window to apply. So if you know or have clients that will actually qualify for this, I would definitely make sure you share this information, not only to your clients with the seniors this year that'll be starting college or maybe even starting community college, or have clients who actually graduated in the last 2 years, because it is a 2-year look back. So to make sure that you're actually bringing everyone into the circle, okay? Now, also on Tuesday, I attended the monthly board meeting of the Board of Accountancy. The big announcement is that NASBA is now looking at having a continuous testing for the CPA exam. Wow, this is really a big, big deal. This will give students the opportunity to take a section failed almost, within days after failing. Usually they have this certain window of time that you can test. Now it's going to be a continuous process. Now, the process still does not change that you must pass a section within 18 months. So that has not changed, but what has changed is the availability of the test. So we're going to be hearing more about that at the Eastern Regional Conference, which will be held in DC in June. Now, also what they rolled out was that they are going to roll out the CPE tracker program. Now, what this is as you know, with the IRS, with people who have PTINs, the society reports your credits to IRS on the credits you earned during your seminars. Well, this CPE tracker will be doing the same thing, but for CPAs, and not just in Maryland. This is going to be a national program. So that is also supposed to be rolled out in June. Now, there's going to be a process involved, and the Board of Accountancy is going to be working with their IT people to see how they can implement that in the state of Maryland. But this is really a great program, and really something the MSATP is really going to be supporting, because of the ability not only for us to record the credits with NASBA, but also as a CPA, this is very beneficial for you, because you will always have all your data in one location. So say you take a class in PA, a class in Maryland, and you take it with the PA Society and the Maryland Society, and you say, wow, I don't remember what I took. You can go right to this national bank, I'm going to call it a national CPE bank, and you can see all the credits reported by all the sponsors. And not only is that available to us and to you, but also say, for instance, you take and do a unique thing that is not a officially sponsored program, that you can actually look at it and actually record that and see about getting it approved. So it's really a great program, and it really not only will help you keep track of all your CPE, the audit process, if you get that lottery winning of getting audited, they can actually just go right to the CPE tracker, You don't have to send in all that documentation of the titles, the CPE certificates, everything. It's all going to be right there. And that's going to be really, really helpful for everyone. So I'm really looking forward, and the society is going to be working very closely with the board to make sure that we're really going to try to get this to happen in Maryland. So at this time, I want to bring in Matt Schmidt of Ease Technology. Matt, are you there? He is.
I'm here. Good morning, Sandy.
How you doing? Now,
Very
last week, the IRS once again reminded everyone the importance of data security. They stated that the tax professionals are the prime targets right now. I mean, it's like the cookie jar. I mean, we have all that data as tax practitioners, and they're seeing data breaches and that are affecting the tax professional. Matt, I know you have some great ideas that you'd like to share with us, and that on how you're helping. I'm sorry, not you personally, but Ease Technologies is helping our members in the accounting and tax profession to help protect their data.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sandy, for inviting me. Yeah, there's a lot that still needs to be done. I mean, there's an old saying, why do people rob banks? And it's because that's where the money is. So tax preparers are prime targets because they have so much data on people. I would say the number one issue today is still spear phishing and phishing, which are email masquerades trying to pretend to be someone else, trying to trick you into opening an email and clicking on a link that has either malicious software behind it to download to your computer that basically opens up all the information on your computer, or puts some kind of code to collect data over time. So there are different types of malware. So you still have to do the basics. You still have to have a good firewall. You still have to make sure that your servers are protected and up to date. If you have servers in-house, if you want to consider moving those to the cloud, that we highly recommend doing that. Make sure that your whatever cloud provider you're going to has the top level security for your data and information. And protect your devices with antivirus and anti-malware, and then take precautions. So the biggest way we see phishing attacks probably once a week, if not multiple times a week. One of our clients has somebody masquerading as the head of the organization, the finance department, asking somebody to transfer money, to wire money over. They're trying to create this sense of urgency. So if for whatever reason you are duped, and believe me, a lot of people have this problem. They click on something they didn't mean to, and they download some malware. You want to make sure that you have a good backup in place and a good disaster recovery plan, because if your systems are compromised and your data is compromised, you want to make sure that you can get back to a state that is before that malware launched. And we have a very much longer program on this coming up in May, where we'll talk in depth about cybersecurity and all the different ways to be attacked, and what you can do to identify all the data that you have and secure it. But I would say right now the number one problem is still phishing emails. The best way. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sandy. What are you going to say?
I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Now, and this, I don't know if you heard about this, but apparently, and I got one myself. Actually, two of my staff people also got it, where we got a call from Verizon saying that our account has been suspended. And it's actually it's actually a scam. And it's actually, if you look at their phone number, it's actually the phone number for Verizon. If something happens on that thing, can that roll into our data in any way, or is that really two separate things?
Well, they're two separate systems, but there are more criminals that are using the good old-fashioned telephone to try to trick people. So typically, what will happen, and people will say they're calling from the IRS, and you're a delinquent, or you have a payment that wasn't made in time. But what they're trying to do with that phone call, however they're disguising themselves, is to still get you to go to the computer and go to a website.
Oh, okay.
So it's an old-fashioned way of trying to trick you into getting to some kind of online system where they can gain control. And it's literally a matter of seconds. I mean, all you have to do, depending on the malware, is click on one link, and they can have complete control of your entire system.
Wow.
Now with the email, if you click on an email, a lot of the times they're just trying to get email credentials so that they can then gather information through your email that's coming and going over time. So there are some that are quick hits where they want to get something quickly, like a wire transfer. They're trying to trick somebody into the finance department to transfer a large amount of money to an account. And then there are other ones where it's a slow play, where they're trying to build up over time. And particularly with a tax preparer, where you've got a lot of information about a lot of people, they may have specific targets in mind. So it's not. We have to look at both sides, where it's the long play, where they're going after specific targets, or they're going after the short term hit.
Right.
Now, if somebody is trying to get your email credentials, the best way that we have seen to prevent that is to have two-factor or multi-factor authentication turned on your email account, so that if your email credentials are compromised, and again, we see this happen on a weekly basis, they can't get into that account without that other device. So whether it's a phone, a tablet, whatever you have set up as that secondary device, so it's not just your password, but it's also giving you some kind of code. A lot of people will use their cell phones, and they'll have a code texted to them as that second device. We're actually seeing some problems with that. I mean, that's for right now. I would say, at the very least, put that in place. But there are some steps. It's all about staying ahead of the criminals, right? So the criminals have now figured out a way to steal the secondary credential. So we're going to talk, particularly in Ocean City, about how you look at that second device as your multi-factor authentication. But at the very least, have that in place for your email, so that your email credentials can't be stolen.
Yeah. And I hate to say this, Matt, but this is one of those things that, what it is today is going to be totally different tomorrow,
Absolutely.
and it's so, and I think the sad part of it is that we have these people out there, as you call them, criminals, that have this knowledge. I mean, boy, if they could use this for the good,
Right.
use for good instead of evil, would that be wonderful?
Yeah. we could have solved cancer by now.
I know, exactly. We could have solved the world's problems. That would be wonderful. Oh my land.
Now I did. Sandy has shared a link with you all to my email address. If you have questions, you can email me. But we also give you a link to the IRS. They have a really good document that is safeguarding data, particularly for tax preparers. So it really gives you a good checklist of things that you can do on your own. If you're a small independent tax preparer, you can do these steps on your own. If you're a little larger and you want to engage your IT provider, it gives them a map. But ultimately, it gives you, even if you're getting help from somebody else, it gives you the ability to kind of check off what the IRS is looking for in terms of a written plan. Anybody that's working with a vendor or doing it themselves needs to have that written plan, so that you can demonstrate, in case, God forbid, you get audited by the IRS, that you are doing what they're asking you to do as basic due diligence. And I think they've actually done a really good job of kind of laying it out step by step, and gives people kind of a roadmap of what to follow. So it's a really good resource.
Now, have you ever or had anyone experience an IRS audit on that, or no? Have you had that?
Not yet. I'm going to knock on wood here real quick. And so far, none of our clients have had that have had that experience. But I feel, just looking at that document and looking at some of the, I mean, we've had to put together some larger documentation depending on the type of client and the kind of things that they need to produce for audit. And it's a really solid, nice little roadmap. I particularly like it for the really small businesses and the independent people, because they don't have to guess. They can go step by step and say, okay, I've got my antivirus, I'm doing my updates. And then, once you have that done, you just put that away in case you get audited. You can pull that out and show the IRS that you're taking it seriously.
Good. Wow. I'm going, again, like you said, so the event is going to be May 22nd and down in Ocean City. We'll be at the Grand Hotel, and you're going to be doing a 2-hour course on this, presentation on this, which I think is going to be outstanding. And again, gosh only knows what we'll have in 2 months, what we'll be talking about then. So who knows?
Every time I look at this presentation, it changes with my with new examples, unfortunately, of somebody else that's been compromised. I mean, the latest is a Facebook compromise of people's passwords. So it's always changing and always fun. But we're going to take a look at some of the current things. We're going to look back at kind of things that criminals do to get your data. And then we're going to talk specifically about data privacy, which is related, but also deals with some of the different regulations that are what your responsibilities are if there is a breach. Who do you have to contact on the federal side, on the state of Maryland side? There's all kinds of things that need to take place in case something like that happens. And then we'll take a look at some of there's some really good examples of some data privacy documentation that we can share with everybody and kind of go through and say, again, same type of thing as a checklist for data security, identifying things, finding out who has access to what, and then how do we secure that and how you write it up. So again, if you ever get audited by a client or you get audited by the government, you have that and you're prepared.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this, Matt, but actually the society has a relationship with Quest Insurance, who is offering cybersecurity insurance. And that's with Chris Corbin, who actually used to work with these. So
yes, know him well.
Just changed hats a little bit. And so I know that's another thing, just like car insurance, everything, protect yourself. And so
we have had a lot of clients in the last, I would say, 2 years really get on board with cyber insurance. And I know of 2 instances where some people had some wire transfers that happened that they were able to use that insurance to cover. So we do recommend getting cyber insurance.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we have that up on the show right now. Excellent. So Matt, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
I look forward to seeing you down in Ocean City. Always great to go down the shore and get some of those great French fries.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you there. Well, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, everybody.
So what we're going to do now, I'm going to change gears, and hopefully in the mail this week, you guys received, I'm going to show it. I'm going to do a little show and tell here. You received the brochure for the 60th anniversary continuing education plans, and you've had an opportunity to go through. I think the team did an amazing job putting it together. I think it's very comprehensive, and it outlines what we are doing as a society to help you as a member, as well as to celebrate our 60th anniversary. And we want you to be part of that celebration. And for that reason, we put this great program together for you and at a great discounted price, because we want to give back to you, the members, for your years of support of this society. So hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at it. I know it's a lot to take in, and you are in the middle of tax season. So, but if you have any questions or anything at all, please just drop us an email, drop us a phone number. We're here to help. We have a whole team ready to answer your questions. Now, I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. Now, for those Oriole fans, now you're here, you got one. Today is opening day for the O's, and we're going to be playing that lovely New York team, the Yankees. But as they say, let's play ball. Have a great day, everyone.